We finally have a map choice. So let's update map number 2, chosen by the right team, and it is Volskaya Foundry. Or is it Volskaya Industry? I forget which one is in which game. And it looks like the lobby is being made right now, so hopefully we get an invite to that in just a second. Thank you to everyone for tuning in. Once again, I apologize for not responding to chat in the slightest. I forgot to grab my phone, and I do not have 2 monitors, so as soon as I get into this lobby, I'll ask for a minute. Mostly just because I don't want to miss the lobby invite and cause everyone to have to wait too much. And yeah, then I'll be able to actually read all the terrible things that you're saying about me in chat. Like, your monitor is too awesome, and stop killing my internet with your 4K stream. We are down to 1080p now, hopefully. Let me know if in the chat that looks a little bit better for y'all. There's the invite coming out. And I'm going to turn my camera off while I walk away so you don't get to see the entire rest of the sad room that I spent all of my time in. And we're back. I appreciate both of the teams for letting me go and do that. I like to be involved with my chat whenever possible, and I just can't do that without my phone. So, as mentioned before, we do have the Volskaya pick coming out from the Deviled Keggs. Teams have not switched sides on me, so looking like we're pretty well set up for going into game number 2. I appreciate it, the Trevor, but it's a little bit of a sad room. I really like Lightwall. I take it almost every game. I know it's not always the right choice, and I need to be more flexible in that regard, but as it is, it's just such a fun talent. I can't convince myself to take Q cooldown. So going into game number 2, we do have the map pick this time coming out from the Deviled Keggs. Uncomfortably Numb favoring the hero pick. Wonder if they're going to have a slightly higher priority pick as they go into game number 2 compared to game number 1. To be completely frank, I didn't really figure out what the team strategy was on Towers of Doom. They picked the map, and I don't know that they really picked a special map kind of draft for game number 1. So hopefully they'll be able to do something with a little bit more pick in their a little bit more freedom in their hero picks. We got the Johanna ban coming out in game number 2. A little bit of a target ban. She's also still just really good on this map. And once again, we have the Junkrat ban coming out from the side of the Doubled Keggs. Again, I feel like that is just going to have to be a target ban at this point. There's no reason to ban out Junkrat on this map specifically. There's a little bit of a reason on towers, but he's not super strong on Sky, so it's got to be a target ban. I'll have to ask him. I'll have to ask whichever team wins about that in the interview. And the Stukov ban coming out as well. So 2 target bans coming out from Uncomfortably Numb, showing that they've got a little bit more respect for the opponents, perhaps, than they had in game number 1. Doubled Keggs taking the entirety of their time so they can sort their ban strategies. And it's once again the ETC ban coming out. So, no Junkrat, no ETC to be seen at all this series. Finally. And we've got the Alarak pick coming out. Big fan. We did see the Alarak getting banned in game number 1, so let's see what THC Spectre, I believe that was not a player in the previous game, so a little bit of a swap up in actual players coming out from the side of Uncomfortably Numb. So hopefully we'll be able to see if they can bring that extra special spice coming out into game number 2. Once again, Blaze getting picked out here by the Doubled Keggs. They seem to favor that hero. And Ana is actually getting picked up by VZ. Personally, I prefer Ana over Stukov in most circumstances, so having the Stukov banned out, I would feel really good getting Ana as a response. Yeah, that's fair, Wono. But I know that my team likes to take a lot of grouped up team fights, so I feel like it gets value in most cases, and we try for a lot of picks, so we don't have as many protracted fights, so if we can have like a 10-second fight where Lightwell just gets used entirely, it's really great. We have the Rainer pickup coming out, and the Malfurion as well. I don't think Malfurion gets as much respect as he deserves. He's a really good healer. I don't think he's as good as Anduin or Vala, who in my eyes are kind of the 2 top standard heroes if you're not going for something like a pick comp, but Malfurion's never been too far out of the meta. Even if he's not an A tier hero, he's always at least a B. So it's I like seeing it come out of here. We have the Nubarak getting banned out. That's a very standard ban. I don't know if that's a target ban in line with the rest of the bans that they've had, but Nubarak has been strong for a long time, so I'm not terribly surprised to see that ban come out. I don't think that that's the case. I think B-Train knows exactly how strong of a hero ETC actually is. And the Kel'Thas ban, so we got 3 for 3 bans of heroes that were played in game number 1 coming out from Uncomfortably Numb. Just the utmost respect for their opponents after they kind of showed them what for in game number 1. Arthas and Jaina getting picked up, so we've got the not a Dreadlord Jaina, at least not yet, and also the Lich King Arthas himself. So lots and lots of slows coming out on the side of the Doubled Keggs. Really, 3 out of 4 heroes have a very significant slow that they can pump out. Unfortunately, Jimmy's already picked up, so not able to pick up that ace in the hole. Chen and Tass are both still up. I would love a Chen pick. Dad is not a Chen pick. Could I get someone in the Nexus Gaming Series Discord to go find BMed and let him know that there's a Gazlo being played, and it's not them? And the Garrosh pickup. Garrosh, I think, is pretty strong on this map because it is a point control map, and you have to fight over it. So if you have to get into Garrosh's range, he can do work with it. And the Lunara coming out. I have been seeing a lot more Lunara. I don't want to say I don't know why. I don't know why it feels like she kind of suddenly came back in the meta. Like, she didn't get changed as far as I'm aware, so just seeing a lot more Lunara than I used to. She's a really good hero, able to put out a lot of damage, and she does it over time, which means that the Jaina combo should be able to finish a hero that's lower health than they otherwise would be from someone that's putting out a little bit less consistent damage. But I don't know. She's also really good ability to just go in and snipe down a low health target with the leaping strikes, so maybe that's what the strategy is. 30 viewers. Nice, looking forward to the series. I'm looking forward to it as well, Covey, and I'm really hoping we can get into a game number 3 here, because game number 1 was kind of spicy. But now we have spawning in the blue trunks, the team Uncomfortably Numb, with Pilot of Earth playing Malfurion, Novus playing the Jim Raynor, the Spectre playing Alarak, a very appropriate name, Keggs playing the surprise Gazlo pick, and Famous playing Garrosh. And spawning in on the right-hand side, once again circling around B-Train, we have the Deviled Keggs with B-Train playing the Lunara, Contender playing Jaina, Andrew playing Arthas, Ravenex playing Blaze, and VZ playing Ana. I'm genuinely convinced that that whole circle is just to mess up the caster and make it harder for them to figure out what exactly is going on. We do once again see the Deviled Keg splitting off one hero immediately into a separate lane. So not interested in the level 1 fight. We do have the Eternal Hunger coming out from Arthas, so they're going to be run in the solo lane. Garrosh 7 is fixed on this map. Yeah, I actually don't know. And I'm not a ref, so I can't even say anything, so I just hope that they don't take that Garrosh 7. Got a little bit of damage coming out from Novus, but really not too much. Both teams making sure that they get that good wave clear. We already have Spectre in the top lane, making sure they don't miss any minions. We got the Ground Warbreaker from Garrosh, the Shondo Clarity. I never see that talent picked up from Malfurion, so that's a little bit of an interesting pick coming out. We've got the very fast camp, waiting for it to spawn and everything, coming out from B-Train and VZ. We've got Gazlo taking Break It Down, which I genuinely have never seen picked, so I would love to see if this ends up going pretty well for... can caster check, please? Caster cannot respond even if I could check. So... yeah. I'd love to help if I could, but I cannot. Keggs is now... we do have the pause coming out as Keggs is starting to take this camp. Gazlo very good at camps. We've got the camp just being taken in the top lane by Jimmy and Malfurion. A little bit of extra XP being caught up in the mid lane. Banned. We didn't know there was a bug. That's unfortunate. There's been a bug on that talent for like 3 weeks now, if not longer. Nobody pays attention to HOTS. Bible thump. That's unfortunate. Yeah, I was pretty sure it was still banned. I just didn't want to tab out of the game and check. So yeah, let's hopefully not get that talent picked at level 7. It can be hard to abruptly not take a talent. B-Train apologizing, saying they should have said something in draft. Can we throw the core? Maybe on Alterac Pass you can someday throw the core, but definitely not on this map. I appreciate it, Mr. Monkey Man. Very well ready to count down. We are ready to count down whenever. I can't do that. Since you forgot to tell us, does that mean we win automatically? Nice. Alright, and we have the countdown coming out unpaused. Just hopefully we don't see that actually get... hopefully it doesn't actually come into effect at all. We do have the rotation coming out into the top lane. Both teams just trying to make sure that they get that XP. Uncomfortably Numb opting for a little bit less lane XP and a little bit more camp pressure. Some damage coming out onto Famous, but they're going to get the stun onto B-Train, so damage for damage is pretty good. We do have the Wisp talent coming out from Lunara at level 1, which I don't see particularly often, but I usually see that more on the smaller maps with more vents. This map's got some vents, so it's pretty good, but it's, I don't think, the best for it. Ravenex is putting out a little bit of damage onto Garrosh there. Not too much being done. Contender's going to be able to step up and clear this pretty quickly because he is Jaina, and he's really good at taking down camps like that. Down in the bottom lane, we do see that Keggs is in fact beating the solo lane Arthas. I don't think that's a terrible surprise to anyone, other than that I can say that there's a Gazlo in this game. That's the surprising pick for sure. We do have Alarak still holding his level 4 talent, not committing to anything just yet. Gazlo going for the Clockwork Steam Fists, which is the more solo lane split push build and a little bit less on the teamfight build, especially because he didn't go Explodium charge on 1. And Deep Roots, so bigger, longer roots coming out from Malfurion opting not to go into the broccoli, which is almost always my favorite talent pick, just because it stacks. Let's be honest, if every talent if a talent gives you dings, that makes it a much better talent. Even if it's not mathematically superior, it just makes you happy getting those dings off every now and again. A little bit of damage coming out onto Gazlo. This is an interesting fight. And because there's not actually fighting over the point, this is more interesting than what's happening at the objective. So Andrew getting brought down actually very low. Pilot's going to step up to give a little bit of heal onto Gazlo. And he's just going to be able to split push in lane this whole time, and there's really nothing Arthas can do about it. B-Train stepping in to try and contest with the rest of his team, but they're not actually stepping in to push Famous off the point, so they're just continuing to get this channel out. Got damage coming in out onto Andrew again. We do have a bit of a gank coming out, and that is going to be the dead Gazlo. However, they're going to be almost fully channeled by the point that they're forced off of this spot. So it'll be a long time for Gazlo to actually get brought back before they can actually do anything about this. A little bit of a root coming out onto Garrosh, but he does have that Indomitable. We see Garrosh holding his level 7, looking very intently to not take into the fray, and shows Oppressor. So basic attacks and heroes reduce their spell power. It's not into the fray, which is good because that's the banned talent, but into the fray is usually the very standard talent, so I like to see how this actually ends up working out for them. A lot of damage coming out onto Garrosh. He's able to unstoppable out of that Blizzard, but that is Garrosh and Keggs both getting brought down low enough that they have to step all the way back and probably tap up. Pilot working on healing Famous up just as best as they can. We do have the level 7s out from both sides. We have full grenade build from Ana. We've got the full Q build coming out from Jaina, both very standard picks. We've got the Nature's Culling and Splintered Spear, which I consider to be the standards on Lunara. A little bit of a root coming out onto Ravenex, but Novus gets brought down very low with that double Blizzard hit. Is just barely able to walk away with literally 1 hit point. Never mind. That is the Lunara damage outdealing Jimmy's healing. And that is going to be objective number 1, going out in favor of Deviled Keggs, really showing us a strong and patient fight over the objective, doing just a little bit of damage to the front wall, throwing a couple of abilities at it. We do have Keggs and Andrew back in the bottom lane doing their duel thing. I don't believe I remember Andrew's name from Game Number 1 either, but I could be mistaken. Anywho, top lane is where most of the action is going to be happening. We see actually a really big push coming out onto the Alarak, getting him all the way out into lane, but not quite able to follow up on that. They do snipe down the well, which is normally what you want to see on this map. And looks like, yeah, they just wanted to get the front wall, and now they're just going to walk away, maybe try to do some damage to the rest of the mid wall. Gazlo did get taken out in the bottom lane. I apologize for missing that. I didn't anticipate a kill happening just between the solo lane, but that's my bad. I'll try to avoid that in the future. It actually looks like they're going to be able to snipe down the mid well as well. So a lot of potential map advantage coming out for the Deviled Keggs. And we have the immediate turn to go onto the camps here as level 10s are now being picked up from the side of the Deviled Keggs. We have Thornwood Vine. Yeah. Thornwood Vine coming out from Lunara, so not going to be able to jump into the back line and get those picks, but a lot better ability to just do poke damage over time. We have the Army of the Dead, the Nano Boost, Bunker Drop coming out this game, not the Combustion, and we have the Water Elemental coming out from Jaina, so no blow-up comp from the side of the Deviled Keggs, but just a lot of consistent ability to deal damage. Alarak does see that there is, in fact, this Spottic Emitter being taken, but without 10s, they're not really able to do anything about it. Thank you, DB Smiley, so much for the 6-person raid. I appreciate it. Hey, Broom Boy, what are you doing not one trick in ETC? Get out of my chat. Go play more heroes. No, I appreciate you from stopping by. We do have now level 10s being picked up from both sides. We have the Warlord's Challenge. Actually, Tranquility, which isn't terribly surprising considering the poke comp coming out from their opponents. We do have the Robo-Goblin coming out from Gazlo, so really, really not focusing on that team fight at all. We have the Hyperion and the Counter-Strike, not terribly surprising. Although, I guess Rainer's Raider is an equally good talent. I don't think there's a significantly better choice for Rainer, just better on certain maps. A little bit of poke war coming out. B-Train is currently winning that against Novus until he pops Z. We do have the charge coming out, but that is the cleanse coming out from Malfurion. We do have a little bit of a fight going on in the bottom lane. I did miss that Jaina kill in the mid lane. Andrew is just barely able to death coil themselves, keep them alive, as Gazlo is really going in hard on the bottom lane at this point. Thornwood Vine is a good talent. Changed my mind. We do have, with that one kill, they're going to push in pretty hard into this mid area. Kickknav's even joining in so that they can drop a couple of turrets and just try to push down this mid wall. We do have Jimmy sleeping on the job, but is able to just walk away. No follow-up, basically at all. As we see, Deviled Keggs is ahead in XP, but at the moment we see Uncomfortably a little bit ahead in map position. Oh, my apologies. I thought he was a one-trick ETC, not a one-trick Johanna. We do have the wraparound coming in from Ravenex, but it is spotted out by Jimmy. Jet Propulsion just not able to land, and Spectre doing a lot of damage to Contender. Famous is not able to step in. Ravenex popping the Unstoppable to make sure he doesn't get thrown. And we have the third objective now, the second objective now spawning in the top lane with the level 13 talent tier advantage in favor of the Deviled Keggs, with the Icy Veins, making sure that Contender can put out a burst amount of damage as well as the consistent damage from that Q build. Shattering Armor is pretty standard. Greater Spell Shield is a little bit less of a standard pick. And holding 13s from Ana and Blaze. We did have the camp being taken from the side of Deviled Keggs, giving Uncomfortably Numb a little bit of an opportunity to try and take that positioning. They seed it to try and come down here and stop this camp invade, but Pilot of Earth is not able to save Gazlo. The Tranquility probably could have provided enough healing, but the biotic grenade making sure that none of that healing actually gets through. I appreciate that we actually do have a thorough Divide conversation going on in the chat right now. Thank you very much, everyone. Appreciate you all for being here. If you like what I'm doing, go ahead and give me a follow. I'm not especially working towards getting 50 followers, but if I happen to get emotes one day, I wouldn't mind. We do have the second biotic emitter getting picked up from the side of the Deviled Keggs. That's going to give them a very significant advantage going into this objective. 13's coming online now for Uncomfortably Numb. We have defensive measures. Nature's Swiftness, I usually see this low on 13, so I'd like to see how Pilot of Earth is able to make use of his individual speed instead of his opponent's slow. The extra large bomb is a very standard pickup. It's much able to hit your opponents, is able to hit, in this case, 2 turrets, and also drops every time you get stunned or rooted. So really big talent coming out from them. Famous getting chunked out very hard, and this is kind of the problem that you can see with Garrosh sometimes. He just gets chunked out as he regular speed walks at the enemy team, as all of this poison and all of these blizzards and everything makes it really hard for Famous to actually get position against the enemy team. A little bit of a throw combo coming out onto Ravenex, but nothing to really follow it up, so he's still very high. The 3-person root come out, and the Tranquility a little bit too slow to keep everyone alive. Famous is dropping the Warlord's Challenge, gets a really big multiple-person stun, but he is able to walk away incredibly. The shield on 13 just barely able to keep him up, but Gazlo's killed in the back of the opposing team. Famous gets brought down really low and is not able to walk out a second time. Spectre tries to walk away, but he's walking the wrong way. I think just trying to give Pilot a little bit of extra time for themselves to live, but that's going to be the total sadism reset coming out from them. Contender dropping a little bit of a taunt in the lane, as this is going to be the second objective going out in favor of Deviled Keggs on their map choice. We have Anders splitting off in the mid lane so they can make sure to get that XP, and we do see that the top lane is going to fall even before the Triglav comes out. Considering how far they are, I wouldn't be totally surprised if they opt to take the Triglav and finish out mid-fort before going all the way to the bottom to try and make sure that they finish out that well to secure the third objective. And that is mostly what we see happening. We didn't even need the Triglav's help to make sure to get that down. Just Contender and B-Train able to put out enough damage with Anders stepping up to get positioning. As we have the now multiple man heading into the bottom lane from both teams. Gazlo's still in the mid lane trying to staunch the XP that they're just kind of bleeding out in this game, being 2 full levels behind at this point. We do have Arthas now rotating in, so we do have the effective 5v4 coming out from the side of the Deviled Keggs as Uncomfortably Numb looks to try and hold onto their bottom fort for dear life. Gazlo is still in the mid lane. We do see the 3-man gank attempt coming out onto him. He tries to mount, but isn't able to do it in time. Is going to pop the Robo-Goblin to try and get away, but it does get rooted and killed in the top lane. We do have now just the Triglav versus 4 in the bottom lanes. This should not be able to do a whole ton of damage. Is probably going to be able to poke down the well still. It does only have 10 seconds, so yeah, just as soon as that gets done, they're going to rotate out just so that they can't get engaged upon. as we have the rest of the team coming in for the Deviled Keggs, not looking like they want to necessarily force the rest of this fort, although now that they have all of their heroes able to push all of their buttons, maybe going to choose to do exactly that. And it looks like that is the position they're looking to take, try and take down this bottom fort. Jimmy making sure to take down those minions first so that the opponents can't just step in with minions. We do have Raven X taking a very forward position against Uncomfortably Numb, trying to make sure that they can stand as far out as possible. They actually cleared the minion wave basically entirely before Uncomfortably Numb's even able to step up to it, but I think there's just a little bit too much wave clear for them to easily step up into this position, so instead they're going to take their camp. I wonder if they're going to look to invade on their opponent camp because they can see Gazlo is up here in the top lane, and that is exactly what they're looking to do. It does get seen, I think, by Garrosh, but Arthas just stands in and imposes presence, not literally with the talent, just with his positioning, and that is going to be the second stolen camp going out in favor of the Deviled Keggs. Uncomfortably Numb now rotating up so that they can take this top camp, which Gazlo is able to do quite well. But we do have the level 16s now coming online for both teams. We do have the big pull coming out from Spectre, but B-Train is able to hippity-hop away, and Raven X is able to interpose themselves between them and the opponent's team just to make sure that they're able to continue that disengage. It looks like we've got just a little bit of a push going out into the top lane, or is it a gank attempt, or is it a camp attempt? Who knows? Looks like they've settled on the lattermost, with Kiknaz doing all the damage in the world onto that objective. This will be the first Biotic emitter going over in the favor of Uncomfortably Numb if somebody chooses to pick it up. There we go. And yeah, we have for the moment a pretty even game, but by the time the next objective spawns, the Deviled Keggs are going to be looking like they're going to have about a level 20 advantage on their opponent, and that's going to be hard for Uncomfortably Numb to fight into. So, I'd like to see them try to get a pick or something before this next objective so that they can actually get a good position going into the objective. But I don't think the Deviled Keggs are going to give it to them. They've been playing like really conservatively every time they haven't had the Triglav, and only invading when they see that they have a man advantage, only taking fights when they've got a man or a talent tier advantage, and it's been working out really well for them. We do see them checking the aggressive positions with the Wisp, and it looks like this is the time that they're finally going to try and step in and take that fort. They do commit the turret for it. Arthas stepping out just to provide a little bit of that vision, and that is going to be the third fort of the game going down in favor of the Deviled Keggs. Famous steps in to try and get an aggressive positioning, but takes a ton of damage for it. We do have the Tranquility pop to keep them alive, a little bit of that getting eaten up by the Bio Grenade, and that is going to be one ult down going into this objective, as opposed to 0 to their opponents. They are looking to clear this bottom lane, but they've got catapults building up in all three lanes, so it's going to be a rough fight coming in for Uncomfortably Numb. They do have the not fighting down 20 yet, but you can see that the Deviled Keggs aren't going to fight down 20. They're just going to delay and take this camp and do whatever they can to not fight down 20. There we go, picking up the camp. And then, honestly, they're probably just going to take this bottom minion wave, and there we go. The level 20 is coming in. The almost 3 full level advantage coming out for the side of the Deviled Keggs. We have the Forest Wrath applying, giving extra range and vision, and also 2 stacks of poison every time she hits with that R. We do have the Winter Mute coming out, the Nano Infusion. I don't know, Blaze's talents, Burn Notice, and Legion of Northrend. We do have the charge coming out onto Jimmy, but not a lot of follow-up. He does get rooted, but not a ton of actual damage being put out onto him. A pretty decent counter-strike coming out from THC Spectre, but a lot more damage coming out after that. The huge jet propulsion hitting 2 people, securing 2 kills. The Explodium charge that dropped, not able to actually do any significant ability to turn that fight around. Alarak, the only hero to walk out of that fight, preserving his 110 sadism, but at what cost? We do have now the Deviled Keggs barreling down bottom lane, only Arthas staying on the bot to channel. They're going to look to push down this bottom keep before the Triglav even spawns, and I wouldn't be terribly surprised if they just try to end through bot lane at this point. They're up 2 levels, and level 20 in particular, so they have a lot of leeway to just try to end the game here. Even if they lose, they've got all of their keeps and all of their forts even. So I don't know that Uncomfortably Numb are going to be able to make this defense.
I've got a good feeling about this.
Looks like they're going to go ahead and take their opposing side's turret camp just to give them that extra advantage going into what is very likely to be the last push coming out of the Deviled Keggs. We do now have the Triglav spawning, and Arthas is going to go ahead and get right on in. And he's just going to walk it down the bottom lane and try to position aggressively on their opponent's core. We're only about 1 1/3 levels from Uncomfortably Numb hitting level 20 as well. And hopefully they'll be able to mount this defense and take us to a game number 3. But it's looking kind of dire. The Gazlo pack pick not working out, I think, the way they want to. Activating God Mode. We do have the big taunt coming out from Garrosh. A lot of damage coming out and a lot of healing with that Tranquility. Keggs gets put into a bad position, but Spectre's in an even worse one. Does drop the rest of his Sata some stacks there. Famous does get taken out by B-Train deep in his opponent's backline. Keggs looking like they want to try and int out onto Lunara. Novus popping forward. I think that was genuinely just to get a kill out onto B-Train, but that is the 1-for-3 trade. We got a kill. 2 kills to 16, unfortunately, is not how you typically win the video game. GG's being called, and that is going to be the 2-0 domination coming out from the side of the Deviled Keggs. GG and well played with the upset, Deviled Keggs. Alrighty, let's see if we can get ourselves an interview with B-Train. Update the overlay, not that it especially matters. There we go. We've got the Shure. We're going to pop on over into the NGS Discord so we can get B-Train on up in here for that post-game interview. Hey, B-Train, congratulations on your 2-0 domination.
Hey, what up, man? Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, so you guys came in as the number 6 seed versus the number 2 seed. You did get the upset in the previous round as well. So how is your team feeling going into this game? And importantly, I didn't have time to check. How did your match go during the regular season against Uncomfortably Numb?
In the regular season, they absolutely just smashed us. Like, it was bad. Like one of those games that, like, you're casting it and you feel bad because you can't say anything good about one of the teams. That's what they did to us in the regular season. So we kind of had our eyes set for revenge. We did a little bit of scouting. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of one of the first times that we've really committed to it. Because we were super worried about this matchup. We knew they stuck it to us, and we knew we had to come out, with our best game face.
I'm going to go ahead and guess that that's where the Junkrat and the persistent ETC bans came out.
Yeah, so it was actually just Junkrat and Johanna. We're just like, if we just ban Junk and Joe, we can deal with anything else. And then they banned Joe the second game, and we're like, well, what do we ban now? So we just banned something else. I think it was ETC.
I mean, to be fair, RavenX did, he stepped up and he imposed a lot of presence in game number 1 on Johanna, showing the wrong team winning. Whoops.
Yeah, Raven likes playing Johanna. I'll never understand it. That is the most boring hero in the game. You just press D and you run around, and sometimes you press R.
I don't disagree. She's not a fun hero until level 10, in my opinion.
And then people always take the wrong ult. They always take Blast, and it upsets me, man. I just want to see some Falling Sword memes.
So what was your strategy going into game number 1? You know that your opponents had map pick. Did you think that they had something particular in mind going into this map? And did you have a strategy that you like to run on Towers of Doom?
I mean, we still have 1 and possibly 2 more series, so I'm not going to say if we have strats on certain maps or not. Reasonable. But we actually almost banned Towers of Doom. We noticed it was a map that they just kind of smashed people on. I'm pretty sure their win rate on it was like some stupid high number. And we thought about banning it, but we kind of just stuck to banning things that we don't want to deal with. And we just, figured, hey, if they're going to take us to a map and they take that one off of us, we'll deal with it. But, I mean, we stuck to heroes that we know how to play, comps that we've run, we've practiced. We didn't get too out of the box. I mean, I've picked Nova this season as like a legitimate strat, not a meme, and I got flamed for it. So, I mean, we do a little bit of dabbling, but I think we just kind of stuck to playing what we know and what's good, and I think that helped us out a lot.
And what did you initially think seeing the Kira pick in game number 1? I haven't seen as much of her in the last week or so after her most recent nerf, but yeah, how does your team feel about Kira these days?
I mean, honestly, the second we saw her picked, we knew it was pretty much a free win, so that hero's trash. Like, people just go super ape with it, and we look to punish it a lot with the Johanna. Like, every time you E on Johanna as Kira, you're signing your death warrant because Johanna just cleanses herself when you're on the back half of the swing, and now you're in Africa with your hands down your pants, and you just die, man. Like I don't think people like play her as reserved as they should. I feel like she has a role. I feel like she's super niche. After her numbered nerfs, I don't think her damage is so outrageously high anymore that you can just pick her without real thought. But I think we just felt comfortable. If we had any tank but Johanna, I think that's a much more difficult matchup. But I think we just had the tools to deal with it.
All right, so moving on into game number 2. Your team picked out Volskaya. I'm guessing it's a relatively comfortable map for y'all. And you got respect banned 3 times in that game. Did that shake up your draft strategy at all, you think?
No, not really. I mean, we're used to getting target bans. Like, my Chen is literally, this is the first series my Chen hasn't been banned. And I've been playing DPS, not offlane, for 6 weeks. So I think people are finally figuring out that I'm not the offlaner right now.
Scouting, gentlemen. Scouting changes over time.
Dude, yeah, you gotta look at role swaps. But I think we've looked at, we pretty much go into every draft thinking Chen is going to be banned, Alarak's going to be banned, and then, X hero is going to be banned if we played it in the first game or the second game and it was played well. So that's kind of like the in-series meta that you see. And I think we just, when you target ban, you leave things like Anna Jaina. And so if you have to target ban something that might be not necessarily the biggest first ban, then, we just like, okay, now we can just pick better heroes.
Were you scared at all of the Alarak first pick coming out? And did you notice that Spectre got swapped in for game number 2?
Yeah, we saw his name pop up immediately, and we were like, oh, it's the guy that plays Alarak. And unfortunately, he took the wrong level 4, but at least he took Counter-Strike this game. So that was good. But
Did
yeah,
he
we
take
pretty much
Deadly
looked at
Charge
it
in a previous game?
Yeah, all season he's pretty much been taking Deadly Charge at 10, and we were kind of hoping that he would because we're like, oh, we can just punish that. But he didn't. He took Counter-Strike, and we were like, oh, okay. But kind of one of the perks of having someone who plays a lot of Alarak on your team is he knows exactly what makes Alarak an unhappy character. And so we just kind of drafted to make Alarak unhappy and took away a lot of the utility that he provides.
And I've got to ask, what did you think about the Gazlo pick coming out from Kicknaz?
I'm just gonna go with it was a misclick. I mean, because you didn't take Merklord. Like, what are you doing? You got to take Merklord. Because why not? Like, it's Volskaya, man. Like, even in HGC, Merklord Gazlo made it onto this map for the turret memes. Like, I was disappointed. But like, no, Gazlo is actually a super good hero. All flaming aside, that was the hero I fell in love with this game on. So, I mean, I hate that he isn't as pickable as he once was. And there's a couple people that play it. We know some names in NGS. There are some Gazlo gods out there. But I just think this game, we just had tools for it. Like every game, it's a XYZ in draft. And if you have the tools to deal with heroes, then it doesn't matter how good they are. You can outplay it or punish it.
So I haven't looked ahead. Do you know who you're playing in the Coastal Finals yet?
I think we have Logical Decision, Wono in the gang.
Oh yeah, I should know that, but I couldn't think of it offhand. Anything you want to say to maybe some members of Logical Decision that might be in the chat right now?
Oh, don't worry, guys. We'll make next week a quick 2-0 or 3-0 or whatever it's got to be, so you can get back to Classic. Don't worry. Nah, all jokes aside, we're really looking forward to playing them. We played them, I think, in like one of our last week or two of the season, and they were kind of in like a lull, but since they've started these playoffs, they have been absolutely eating. So I'm looking forward to a hopefully super competitive series, and whoever picks up that cast, you better have a couple glasses of water ready.
Can confirm Logical Decision have been on a tear recently, but that's all I've got. Gonna throw it on over to you for any wrap-ups and shout-outs that you got, B-Train. Where can people find out more about the Deviled Keggs?
I mean, just look into B-Chat. We usually have slow mode enabled because we won't stop flaming people. Outside of that, I just huge shout outs to my team. Like, we faced an absolute crazy amount of adversity this season between role swaps and people having IRL things come up and not being able to continue playing. So we've done a lot. We've kind of been dealt a crap hand for a couple weeks, and we're starting to get on our roll. And I think a lot of people counted us out before we even hit our stride. So we're looking to turn them into Turn them into loyal lovers and not haters.
Just fix up that chat and you'll be all right in my book.
Never.
Well, thank you for coming in for this interview, B-Train. We're going to look to throw the host on over to someone that's playing this game right now, if I can figure out just exactly how to do that. Hosting me, DB Smiley, and Nexus Gaming Series. I appreciate that very much. Pick a live channel to raid or host. I see that Bahamut Gaming is streaming, so we're going to throw the host on over to Bahamut Gaming. Thank you, everyone, for stopping by. Go ahead and drop a follow. I do stream this game on occasion, and I like to cast this game as well. I do a little bit better at playing, I think, than I do of casting, especially solo casting. But once again, just thank you so much, everyone, for coming by, and I will see you in the Nexus.